I feel like I've said this about every single Friends episode so far in season 10, but the one with the cake is basically perfection. Season 10 of Friends is probably one of the strongest seasons. This was the fourth episode of the 10th season. It's directed by Gary Halvorson, and as always, it will be spoilers from now as I go through things and share some thoughts. I'm going to go through it chronologically. Sometimes with Friends, I will talk about different aspects of the narrative in turn, but everything is connected, everything flows well, so I'll just go through things in chronological order. And it actually starts off in Central Perk. Monica and Chandler were supposed to be going away for the weekend, but Rachel and Ross convinced them to stay for Emma's first birthday, which I think is perfectly acceptable. Granted, if they're losing money, it's a bit awkward, but they're planning on going to Vermont after the party. But I also feel like maybe they should have planned ahead. They should have been aware that it was Emma's birthday. So I'm kind of blaming Monica and Chandler here, but either way, they've agreed to stay. And then pretty much the rest of the episode is in Joey and Rachel's apartment. And Ross and Rachel are creating a video of messages for Emma to give to her on her 18th birthday. The terrifying thing there is that she is now, well, older than 18, so that's very, very scary. And then everybody starts arriving, including Jack and Judy, and then Monica and Chandler want to leave to go to Vermont, and then Joey tries to find a gift for her. He didn't realise he needed to bring a gift to a 1-year-old's party, and he decides to do a dramatic reading of one of her favourite books, Love You Forever. And we don't get the full reading, but we get a little bit of it, and it was beautiful. It was very, very nice. And of course, they're recording this for Emma to see when she's older, which is very, very sweet, and everybody's moved by it. And then Phoebe stands up to give her song, and let's just say it's not one of Phoebe's best songs. For us as viewers, it's really good fun, but for a birthday gift, it's not the best. And then we get to see some more of the video recordings, and I love this so, so much, because Jack and Judy are doing their bit for the video, and they're talking about how when Emma's 18, they might not be around anymore. And as Judy says, my parents died very young. And Jack's response, my cholesterol's off the charts. So it's very grim. But the very good news is it's been more than 17 years. And Christina, Pickles, and Elliott Gould are still very much with us, which is obviously really, really lovely. It would have been a lot more emotional to watch this just now had that not been the case. So that's fantastic. Jack and Judy are still around. So Emma could watch the video at the age of 18 without getting too emotional. And I think they missed a trick. I think they could have released that video if somebody somewhere had just edited together that footage and put it in their calendar to release Emma's 18th birthday video on the day that she would have turned 18. That would have been absolutely fantastic. It's not too late. And then Ross goes to get the cake out, and well, it turns out it's an erotic cake. And I am kind of blaming Rachel for this, because who picks up a cake and doesn't look at it? Who just puts it straight in the fridge? It's an erotic cake with, I don't know if I can say what it is on YouTube without getting demonetized, can't I? It's a male member, let's put it at that. And that's bad enough, but it has Emma's face on it. That is, like, who thought that when they were making this cake at the bakery, who thought that this was an acceptable request? Maybe they thought it was like an 18th birthday cake and they were doing it as a joke, but it's you would double check. That's my cat meowing. I apologize if you can hear her. You would double check that, wouldn't you? And I also, as I said, I still blame Rachel for not checking the cake. But she goes up to the bakery with Monica's car, and it turns out that actually she got stopped. She doesn't have her license with her, so Ross goes up to help her, and now it's just the rest of them are in the apartment. And Emma's still asleep. Emma hasn't woken up from her nap, so she's missing her party. Chandler then goes to the bathroom, and this is probably one of my favourite moments in the whole episode, because Joey realises that there's a window in there. He's probably trying to escape, and Phoebe and Joey run after him, and he yells at them to get out because he was using the bathroom. And as they remark, there wasn't a picture of Emma's face on that one. Fabulous scene. Loved the response. Really thoroughly enjoyed it. Jack and Judy then leave, and then Estelle calls, and apparently she forgot to tell Joey about an audition, so he's running late. He decides to go to the audition, and he grabs one of Emma's books to use as a monologue, and then we have Phoebe, Monica and Chandler, and they have to try and decide who's going to stay with Emma? There's no point in all of them staying. The party's basically over now before it even began. So they decide to take some of the toys that Emma received for her birthday, little wind-up toys, and do a race. And I have to say, it's a fair way to decide. And whichever toy comes in last, that person stays. And Monica and Chandler came in last, so they're staying. We then spent some time in the car with Rachel and Ross, which is unusual. We don't spend that much time in vehicles. There was the time where Chandler and Joey drove up to Vegas. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think it was Vegas. We were in the car when they were going skiing. We've been in the car with Phoebe and Joey, but we don't spend that much time on the road compared with some sitcoms where it's actually Two and a Half Men, for example. I feel like it's every other episode. So it's a little different and it works really well. And we have some nice moments between Ross and Rachel. And Ross manages to fix the cake so that it kind of resembles a bunny. He explains how he does it. You can imagine he kind of cut down the middle and spread it apart to make the bunny ears. And I think he made the bit where Emma's... Actually, did they say where Emma's face was? In my mind, Emma's face is on the base rather than on the tip. I don't know if they actually specified that or if that's just how I pictured it. But if her face is on the base, and I am trying to use language I can use on YouTube... That's the bit he turned into cheeks. I can picture it. I can really visualize it. They didn't need to show us it. Their descriptions are so clear. But as I said, I don't know if they said where Emma's face was or if that's just how I'm visualizing it. Please do let me know if you can confirm. And then, of course, Monica and Chandler are with Emma. She's woken from her nap and Monica has arranged her stuffed toys in order of size. And then Phoebe and Joey arrive and then Ross and Rachel. And Emma knows that she's won. She does a little... one with her finger, and it was just a beautiful moment. And we see Ross and Rachel just beaming with pride as they realise this, that Emma's intelligent, she's growing up, she's learning things, and it was just a really beautiful, emotional moment. And the episode ends with Ross and Rachel doing their video, but they're distracted because the others are all racing the toys outside, and it's good fun. It's a fabulous episode. It is funny, it is moving, it is emotional. The fact that Emma is now more than old enough to receive that video is really quite scary and really wonderful. And as I said, unless I've missed something, maybe it was on DVD extra or something. I used to have the DVDs, but I don't remember it being an extra. But I feel like somebody somewhere could have put it in their calendar to at least create the video footage. I'm assuming Ross and Rachel weren't actually video recording on the camcorder, but they might have been. There are scenes where the characters are taking photographs and they're actually taking the pictures, so maybe they did. I don't know. Either way, I think they missed a trick to with not releasing that video on Emma's 18th birthday. It would have been something nice to do, but either way, it's not too late for that. I'd love to see it. And this episode, as I said at the beginning, as is the case with season 10 so far, and looking ahead, it's a strong season. The one with the cake is a fabulous episode of Friends.